Hello Virgo, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. A Three of Wands to begin. This is a card that really is about our choices, right? It's about not the choice itself, but how we arrive at a choice, you know? I feel like you're somebody who always tries to do the right thing. You know, if you find a wallet on the street, you're not going to take the cash out and then go turn it in, right? You're just going to turn it in. And I think it's really because you've kind of been on the other side of that. You know, you have a strong sense of empathy. You're able to really put yourself in somebody else's shoes and understand the importance of kind of, I don't know, being a good person, but that sounds kind of cliche, right? I think you have a very strong sense of your own identity. I think you know who you are. I think you know what you want. I think there's something burning in you right now that is telling you to do something, to go in a certain direction, to make a certain choice. Okay? It feels like your energy, your heart, and your mind are just saying, yes, yes, this is, you know, the right path. And I wonder if it's just now taking this kind of this internal certainty and bringing it to the realm of action, of earth, of the material world, right? Like turning it into a behavior, acting on our kind of resolution. The Three of Wands is about your virtue. Okay, it is about you doing the right thing, even when it's difficult to do it, even when it is either difficult for you, you know, in some sense, or if it's difficult for the other person or somebody else, or you know, the environment that you're kind of that you're responding to. The Three of Wands is not really a trinity. It is a unity, okay? And it is us kind of taking this impulse that we have and really looking at it. Looking at it to see what our mind is telling us about it and to see what our heart is telling us about it. And then really us making the decision in our soul, in our spirit, whether we're going to take action on this or not. And I think for you, when you make a big decision in your life, especially one that's going to affect like other people in a rather direct way, I feel like you really need this process, and you're somebody that really makes sure that like every part of you is on board. You know, that there's no aspect of you that's kind of speaking up, you know, or kind of it has a contrary opinion or a different idea, you know. So I feel like you are feeling this energy that there's something very important that you have to do now, and it's just a matter of turning this kind of inner resolve, this certainty, this virtue really, into some sort of demonstrable action, right? Something that can be well, really, when we think of the material world, we think of the earth energy, right? Fire to earth, that's what this channel is all about. I'm always preaching the fire and the earth, the power of manifestation, okay? And in order to bring something down to the earth level and really manifest it, it has to be something observable, right? That's what the earth cards are, really. It's they are our observable realities, the observable actions, the behaviors, the observable objects and materials of the outer world, right? So really, the earth cards are the only kind of external cards that we really have, in a sense, you know. But let's see what's going on. Let's see where this virtue is really being needed in your life. Well, there is the Emperor card. The Emperor card is kind of the the exemplar of this whole process because it's a fiery energy. But it's also the fourth mystery of the tarot, and that 4 is the number, of course, of manifestation, right? And so we're taking this 3, this certainty that this is the right decision. We're taking that and we are bringing it to the world of action and behavior and visible, tangible kind of energy, okay? So with this Emperor energy, there could be an Aries person close to you or involved in your life right now in some way. But I feel like this is you really taking this inner resolve, this 3 of Wands, this virtue, and now we're acting on it. Now we are issuing our decree in a way. Now you are making those decisions that are difficult. You're being the best emperor that you can be. And it may be a family thing, work thing, maybe a one-on-one friendship or a romance, whatever it is. You're taking charge in that way. Okay? And it might even be that you're just now kind of stepping up and taking over this project or taking over the dynamics of the family, or of your immediate surroundings. That you're kind of stepping up to be the leader somewhere, because it's really needed and you feel that this is the only way and this is the right way, okay? Now, of course, we understand that there is no objectively, right way, but there is a relative right way. There is a subjective certainty that you feel, and that is your virtue. That's you with the intention to be doing the right thing no matter what, okay? And it really speaks to your intention. It speaks to your compassion and your empathy. This Emperor energy is interesting, though. I want to keep going with a few more cards to see what... Well, now we've got... And now this is something else. Now we've got some Cancer energy. We've got a Chariot card underneath everything. You're a very protective person. You're very... You're very guarded about things, especially these kinds of... very sensitive, very private thing. You're a private person. And I think that your immediate friends, family, your home, your kind of safe place, right? Your office at work, or your car, your house, your home, the room, your room or whatever, is very much protected. It's kind of like, this is my zone. This is where, there's boundaries. Right? And sometimes with the Chariot card, we talk about the boundaries. It kind of reminds me, when I see the Chariot card, I think of the Chariot kind of practicing in the yard, and there's just this fence. There's just these borders, and it's not like a chain link razor wire fence, right? Meant to keep everybody out and keep you in, but it's almost just a decorative fence, right? It's just kind of showing that there are some limits here. There are some boundaries, and people can come and go. You can come and go relatively easily, but it's there as just kind of like a sign. It's like a sign on your door that says "Do not enter," but yet your door is like wide open, and you're saying, "Come on in." But you definitely have the ability to defend your loved ones, to really stand up for what you think is like an injustice, right? Or some sort of unfairness. I think you probably are someone who sticks up for people who are like the underdog, or someone who is being bullied or something like that, right? I think that you're very protective of your close friends and your family. And I wonder right now if there's something going on that it's really like you're stepping up and you're just kind of grabbing everybody by the shirt collar and throwing them in the car because, there's something that it feels urgent, right? And of course it's a Chariot, so we might be talking about even a kind of relocation, or this idea of having to put some distance between something. Okay, so I feel like there's something that you're moving away from. Okay, with this Chariot energy. But let's see what that might be. Oh, we've got an Ace of Cups here. Well, this is interesting now. I could be a little bit mistaken about the Chariot card. It's been known to happen. But with the Ace of Cups in the background here, I almost wonder if this is something that you are feeling like running away from, but should you? maybe this is a question of really we've got to look in our heart and see if this is something that we really want, because maybe this Three of Wands, where we feel the energy to do this, we're checking in with the heart and the mind, right, to see if we have this unity, and therefore we can then kind of take this action. But I almost wonder if there is something that is new, right, something relatively new, but something that your heart is kind of saying, this is good, I want this, this has potential, this really could be the one, this could be it, this could be the job, this could be the house, this could be the relationship, right? But I'm feeling that there is this kind of urge to run. There's this urge to get away from something. But why? Why would we want to get away from this? Okay, it could be this is what we are trying to protect within us. Okay, because this card is the heart, really, right? It's the source of all love and joy and beauty and creativity and connection and compassion, yeah. And it might be that you feel in a situation right now that is not very, you're not willing to take the risk that something might hurt your heart, yeah. Let's see what's up above the surface here. The Ten of Wands. See, now we got more of this fire energy. Very fiery here. Your conscious mind, it seems like, is very focused on this activity, this energy. There's a lot of energy here. And then we've got kind of this water energy that's over here that really is something inside of you. It could be that you're somebody who has a very fiery exterior. And the reason why that is to protect what's going on inside, to protect, what is sacred to you. Just as we say with the Chariot card, that you're very protective of friends and family, I think you're very protective of your heart as well. Okay, let's... Five of Swords. And we've got a lot of fire, we've got the watery energy, and we've got the mind now that is not so sure about things. So in some ways, going horizontally, I kind of feel that you've got this feeling, you've got this desire, this attraction to something or someone, but your conscious mind is providing a lot of doubts. Conscious mind is kind of second-guessing everything. And so it seems that our Three of Wands is not so unified right now. That there's a little bit of confusion about what this is, and I think that there's this feeling of not danger necessarily, but there's a heightened awareness, right? There's just a little bit of anxiety. There's almost like a little red flag has appeared in your vision, and you're saying nope. Right? Intellectually, we're finding doubts, we're finding reasons, we're seeing things that we don't like. But meanwhile, the heart is kind of just beating, right? And kind of wants this thing. Now, it could be a job situation, it could be a friendship, it could be a big life decision that we're in the middle of. It could be a relationship. But then we've got this Ten of Wands up at the top here. And the Ten of Wands to me feels like exhaustion for one thing. It feels that we've got a lot of energy and it needs to be expended somewhere. The Emperor really needs to take over here, and really the Emperor is who is driving the chariot. Okay, so in this case we have kind of the executive function that is, if need be, overriding what the heart wants, right? If that's what is best for the realm, that's what is best for your life and for your long-term happiness and satisfaction of life, the Emperor can override the heart. The Emperor can override the conscious mind as well. It's that executive function, right? But what I feel right now is that there is it's kind of a... almost as if we're attracted to the danger, right? Because this feels like a partnership, and it feels like it would be the two of you against the world, right? So I kind of wonder if this is a very seductive situation for you. You really want this in your heart wants this, but logically we're thinking, it's not going to end well, it's not going to be good for me, whether this is a business, an investment, whether this is a vacation, whether it's a friendship or a romance, whatever. Our mind is saying, you don't want to do this, it's not going to end well, it's not going to be good for you, there really isn't a lot of benefit to it, but there is this kind of, this increase of energy that happens when you get, when we start kind of imagining our life in this new situation, okay? So I find it very difficult to resist something like this, because we feel that this is, it's kind of like a very powerful, couple. It's like a power couple, right? It's the 2 wands with the other 8 wands behind it. And it's kind of saying that, with you and this other person, you're 2 batteries that get together and really can supercharge this life, right? But I think it's kind of, it's giving us a little bit of pause because of the kind of rational mind, that logical mind that's saying, wait a minute, I don't know if this is really going to be the best thing for us at the moment, But the rest of you, the rest of your energies are, and just looking at the cards, the rest of the energies are kind of overwhelming this rational mind that is kind of no match for the rest of this, okay? Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor, infinite, and unknown, and it just kind of volunteered. We're going to put Frank and Duck right there on top. If you got a name for that duck, please drop something in the comments. I don't like the Frank and Duck name, to be honest with you. Also, if you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments too. All right. Now, if you haven't subscribed, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything, and it really does help out the channel, and I really appreciate that. Let's talk about your general energy now with the Path of the Serpent. We got the Sun card. So this is a way for us to really appeal to a higher power within us, rather than relying on the heart or the mind, because we see the water and the air now quite different, right? The Ace of Cups, beautiful, loving. This is the beginning of the best time of my life. This is the path to happiness. This is the one. This is everything. And then the mind's like, I'm not so sure. It feels like this is not going to work. It feels like this is, not a good idea. And meanwhile, your energy level is just increasing and increasing to the point where, with the 10 of Wands, I feel like if we don't find a way to make a decision, something's going to just blow, right? Because this is almost, I feel like eventually we're going to get past the point of anxiety, where this energy is just building and building and building and building until we do something, absolutely impulsive, right? So we're appealing to a higher consciousness in ourselves to get a broader sense of what this is and what's going on and what the kind of end result is. The first thing, I feel like it is a rather life-changing decision that you're in the middle of, or a situation. I don't know if it's really a decision. I don't know if it's like I go this way or this way. I kind of feel that it's just, do you continue down this path? Is this the path that is right for you? Or should we listen to that little voice in our head that's saying, you don't want to go that way? There's danger down there. I feel like we're barely able to hear that anymore, right? And so I feel like we are getting closer to just forging ahead with something and not listening to that ever quieter voice of reason in our head. But the Sun card here, I think, is this kind of higher perception. It's what really does inform the Emperor even. Everybody has a boss, right? And this might have something to do with your career or your workplace. It might have something to do with your own sense of authority in your life, right? How you're the boss of your life, yeah. But everybody has a boss. So the Emperor has a boss, and then, of course, is your true self, your higher self, God, goddess, deity, whatever you associate with the Sun card here, as it is reflected through your consciousness. It might be consciousness itself. I think what is going on with this card is that you're able to see, not in a rational way, not in a feelings kind of way, like not in an emotive way, but you're able to see in your consciousness the result of every path right now. And this is what we have to try to do, maybe in meditation or contemplation or through dreams or through active imagination or just through plain old, visualization and that sort of thing, through prayer, contemplate, whatever. As an intentional practice, try to see the long-term results of what you're doing. Try to bring yourself up and out of this situation and look at this from a cosmic perspective. Try to get this solar view of your life. And as of yet, we still don't have any earth energy. Okay, so we should ask ourselves if this is the path that we're on that is going to nourish and nurture our lives. Is this going to result in in a more long-term way? Is this going to result in something that is going to be beneficial for me? And it sounds like an intellectual process, and I don't have any other way to really express that right now since this is a video on YouTube. But I think you get the idea, and it's kind of that meditative, active imagination sort of energy to see what is the future here. How is this part of your overall spiritual journey, right? Is this going to be a significant part of it, or is this just one little thing that really ultimately, in the grand scheme, doesn't mean a whole lot? It feels like this is the most important thing on your plate right now with this fire energy. But the Sun card is maybe saying, hey, it's just one ray of sunshine coming off of your soul. It's just one thing out of an infinite number of things that are going to, into your life that are making up your journey right now. So perspective, context, right? I also think that there is not a piece of information, but there's a realization that's going to occur to you through this solar energy where you're going to be able to see an aspect of this that you didn't think about and you didn't really feel it before, right? It's the perception of kind of absolute truth, absolute reality in this situation. Because with the Sun, there are no shadows. Okay, so there's nothing hidden, there's nothing unknown, right, when we get into this energy. And I think this is very important energy, and that's your general energy. And I feel like that's what you're kind of in the middle of doing right now. I feel like you're kind of listening to the doubts of the rational mind, but it's a voice that's getting quieter. I feel like your heart energy, you still feel your heart pounding in your chest, but we feel kind of overwhelmed, and we feel pressured almost to make a decision. I wonder maybe if there is somebody, maybe it's a boss or something. I feel like there's somebody that's kind of putting a lot of pressure on you to to figure things out. Does that make sense? Next card of the environment. Yeah, Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is, it's our relationship with the environment. It's talking about other people and how we interact with other people, how we interact with our environment. What are we perceiving in the environment but an Eight of Cups? It's kind of as if the rational mind is trying to say, no, look, this is bad news. This is not as good as you think it is, right? But when the mind gets into it like that and starts showing you what the feelings are, we start to wonder if this is projection. Okay? And this position of the dove and serpent spread, which one day I will do a video just on the dove and serpent spread. I've got to figure out how I'm going to do it, and because it's intricate and it's complex, and I keep adding things to it, right? So it's always evolving and always changing. The more experience I get, the more things I read, the more meditation that I do, the more prayer that I do, I start to realize that these positions are more than what they were yesterday. So that it's always changing, right? But in a consistent way and in a very kind of very specific way, really. So the Eight of Cups in this position is it's not objectively what's in our environment, but it's kind of how we are looking at the environment and how we're seeing the environment. And it could be that we're seeing that the environment right now is missing a little something. Our glass is half empty, right? And so we see this Ace of Cups and we think, that's exactly what I need. I need that. And then, we get this impulse and this energy to pursue that thing. We get really jazzed up about it, yeah? Which is kind of my way of saying all this fire energy becomes activated. But then we have the Five of Swords that's saying, no, wait a minute, your glass is already half full. You don't need that. That really is actually going to take away from your enjoyment of life, So if this is another person, then it's kind of our rational mind saying, oh no, that person's no good. That person is just going to be a drag and be a detriment to your life, and it's really not going to be that great. So in a way, we're projecting either way, right? And we can't necessarily trust that. So we definitely need this solar energy to develop in us, and be aware if we are projecting this Eight of Cups into our environment. And the Eight of Cups really is this kind of this loss of hope. It's this really it presents as a glass half empty and cracked and leaking out, right? And there's no water source around. So it kind of is that we are we're experiencing a need in our life. We are, real or not, we are experiencing something that we desperately need to fix, right? And that's why the Ace of Cups is so activated, because we feel like this is the solution to all my problems. Like this is going to be it. This is going to help me fix these cups and get the water back in there. But whether or not that's true and whether or not this actually exists for you is a very subjective thing, but it's very hard for us to see when we're right in the middle of it. Does that make sense to you? I know it's a little bit confusing, but it is what it is. Now in the position of kind of the fears, worries, concerns, and the Hanged Man card, there's a kind of a dual nature to this as well. Okay? Because it's kind of like, ultimately, it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Okay? Pardon my language. But this is the obstacle that we have to get over, because we're afraid that if we don't do this, we are sacrificing that one thing that could have fixed everything. Okay? And that's a lot of pressure for you to put on this other thing. If it's a job, if it's a friend, if it's a relationship, it's kind of like this has to be the one that's going to magically fix everything. This has to be the Holy Grail that, once possessed and brought back to the castle, is going to heal everything. And you know what I mean? It's going to just it's going to save the land. If you've read the Grail cycle stories. But it's the Grail being brought back to the castle and really reunited with the lance. And that's a whole different thing. But it could also be indicating that this might be a romantic situation for you. Okay, this might be we're dealing with a partner or a potential partner, or maybe an ex-partner too. Maybe. But the Hanged Man is that kind of that perception, and we're looking at it from down here, and we're thinking, well, if I don't do this, I'm missing out on that one thing that could heal everything. That I'm sacrificing my own salvation for what? Because I have some doubts, right? Because I'm not, and so this is kind of a card that's saying, well, you definitely need to do this, because this could be the thing that fixes all of these, takes the Eight of Cups and makes it a 9, right? 8 plus 1, yeah, that's right. So if we don't do it, are we really kind of throwing something away that is intensely valuable? So the Hanged Man is that kind of fear. And the Hanged Man, I think, is also partly this concern that if we do go with this, then we're going to be left with a lot of regrets, because we are maybe going to sink further into this despair. And this is something that actually is quite the opposite of what we are anticipating. And that's the confusion of the rational mind. Okay, the Five of Swords, it's hard to get a lot of positive stuff out of the Five of Swords. At least the mind is moving, but it's not reaching any conclusions. Okay? There's change, and it's kind of, I feel like it's us changing our mind. I feel like we're kind of going back and forth rationally, even though the heart just keeps beating and your energy, your fire energy is growing and building, but the mind is kind of going, well, maybe yeah, maybe no. Oh, I changed my mind. No, let's do that. It's like you pick up the phone to dial the number and you say, no, I'm not going to call. Oh, I'll call. And no. And we remain in that for so long, right? And I think that's an exhausting place to be too. But let's see what the next card is. Six of Pentacles. We got some of that earth energy now. And what I say about the earth energy is that it is an element of behavior. It's an element of something physical, tangible, and visibly. It's something perceptible on this physical plane. And this, I think, is this is our ability to be in harmony with the process of change on the physical plane. Okay? So in some ways, it's us seeing how this is going and or how it could be going, and choosing to go with that flow, choosing to harmonize with the way things are developing. But this card is also asking us what we bring to the table. Okay? Because this card is about community, it's about cooperation. And now maybe I'm kind of off the romance thing, and I'm feeling like this is more of a family or a friends or a business. I feel like there's more than just two of you. Yeah. Even though we don't have any court cards at all here today. But this is usually a group of people, and we have to ask ourselves, what are we contributing to this group? Is our behavior in harmony with the larger organization of things? It could be that we are asking this about the situation itself. Is this a situation that I can see being in harmony with the overall structure and organization of my life? Okay. So it still could just be you, it could be a romantic partner, whatever it is for you, right? But this is at least the card of behavior, okay? And this, I think, is sort of what we have to look at with our solar perspective, and we have to look at this situation and ask ourselves, what can I do physically? What behaviors can I perform? Can I manifest to remain in this harmonious flow with my life, with my environment? Is this a decision that's going to completely put you at odds with your path, with what you kind of know is your spiritual destiny, your earthly destiny too? So let's say you've been on this particular path, and then something is here now that really is going to take you in a completely different direction. Well, we have to look at that and say, how is this actually going to manifest in this physical plane? Okay. And in a lot of ways, we are asking, what do they bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? If this is a work thing, it's kind of like, is there a resonance here? Is there a harmony between all of us? Right? Do we have the same goals in mind? Are we on the same page with things? Yeah. Can there be even just the harmony of a daily existence, right? Are my routines and their routines so absolutely fundamentally different that it's just going to be conflict, right? So that brings a new element into the Ten of Wands. Is this an interdependent situation with this company or a group of friends, or with a lover or a family member? Is this interdependence? Is there a flow? Is there a resonance? Is there reciprocity? Or is this codependence? Okay. And sometimes the Ten of Wands can lead us to that question too, to ask ourselves that question. And I think the Sun is really about us being honest with ourselves, and what does your highest spiritual consciousness tell you is the right thing to do here? Right back to that Three of Wands. Let's look at the mystery card now. We'll steer Frankenduck over here. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. I'm feeling Hermit here, right? And for a couple of reasons. Not because that's the decision that you should make, right? But I feel like it's that superpower. It's your higher spiritual centers that have to act as the guide here. So the mystery card is kind of like the guide, right? And that's what I'm feeling now, because I feel like we have to go within and find that spiritual light inside of us that can illuminate everything, can illuminate what is going on inside of us, and can also see how our behaviors and choices are going to manifest and what the consequences are going to be, what the result will be. And asking ourselves if the result is going to be something that is in line with your values, in line with your principles and your goals and your life, or if there's going to be kind of discord or disharmony. Okay? And so the hermit really could, I don't think the hermit is going to necessarily be the answer, but it's going to allow us to it's going to guide us to the answer. And that's my prediction anyway. I'm probably way off. Let's see what we have. Yeah, I'm way off. Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, I think, is really about us, coming to that decision, right? It's a 2. It's about the decision making. And I think that this really is something that may either deepen more deeply entrench you in your current path, or it's something that's going to take you in a completely different direction. So that's pretty serious stuff. There's a lot of fire energy here. And I think we need to be able to see what the kind of long-term consequences of either of those options might be. Okay. Sometimes the Two of Wands is about us realizing what we can and can't control. Right? What is really up to us here, and what our ultimate goals really are. Right? We see someone here that's kind of standing, looking out at the natural world, kind of holding the globe, and it's kind of like, what's my destination? Where do I want to go? What do I want to be? Right? And so we have to find that unity, because now I really do think that you're kind of torn between the two options, or between, the different paths or something. Maybe it's a yes-no kind of thing. And so we're looking at this earth and we're just thinking, and it's almost like we're holding this, and we're just, is this path going to help me get to my goals? Or is this basically me, maybe the Hanged Man too, if I make this choice, or I take this offer, or whatever it is, if I do this thing, am I throwing away everything that I've already built? Okay? Is this completely derailing the progress that you've made? I think we got a very, very difficult decision ahead of us. We're going to do an extended reading, though. If you want to stick around, there should be a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Virgo every Tuesday and Saturday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from, especially if you're a new viewer. I'd love to hear from you. Everybody's welcome. I appreciate you. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.